doing all that anti-aging.
Yeah, he's going ham.
Who's that one billionaire that I was telling you about? He takes blood transfusions from his son.
That guy's weird.
Man, but he does look younger.
Are you a vampire?
Yes. I mean, my internal body temperature is 93.4 Fahrenheit. I'm 5 degrees lower than 98.7. I mean, my son is here. Talmadge, you want to come say hi?
Talmadge.
Yeah.
So he was talking with his dad, and his dad was experiencing cognitive decline. And so he offered to do this plasma exchange with my grandfather. And then they were doing this for medical reasons. And then he asked me if I wanted to do it. And I said yes immediately. So we did the world's first tri-generational plasma exchange. And now I have the title Blood Boy.
Hey guys, today we're talking about something pretty interesting. Billionaire Bryan Johnson and his extreme approach to slowing down aging. He recently went on Logan Paul's podcast and revealed that he's been doing plasma exchanges with his own son as part of his anti-aging regimen. Yeah, it sounds wild, but Johnson is all in when it comes to pushing the boundaries of longevity science. He even mentioned that his body temperature is about 5 degrees lower than the average person, which is pretty unusual. And in a surprising moment, he kind of joked about being sort of a vampire. Bryan Johnson is on a mission to help humanity discover longevity, putting himself on the line to explore new possibilities for extending life. He has stated that, as the universe changes, we must ask ourselves what actions are necessary as a species to adapt and thrive. According to him, this question is the most important one, and nothing else matters more than finding the answers.
We can't know what's happening. Nobody knows whether they can express a positive opinion or a negative opinion. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So if things are changing fast, the question is, what do we do as a species? That is the only question in existence that matters. Nothing else matters right now.
And your answer to the question is essentially self-preserve.
It's don't die. But see, don't die, it's a very clever one-liner, and people are like, oh, that's kind of funny. It's actually the most robust ideology in the world.
Bryan Johnson, while discussing how to slow the speed of aging, emphasized that getting quality sleep is one of the most important habits for improving aging. He argued that sleep is the best medicine available to humans. Bryan also shared his personal experience of achieving the best recorded sleep index in human history, highlighting how crucial proper rest is for maintaining health and longevity.
You're basically giving your body the capacity to heal itself and repair. You're slowing down your speed of aging. You can start with yourself, you can then bridge to your family, you can then bridge to your community, you can then bridge to the world. Okay, so sleep is the most powerful drug available to anybody, by far, the most powerful drug.
Bryan Johnson also shared advice on how others can work towards managing better aging. He emphasized that whatever path people choose, whether it's diet, exercise, or something else, they shouldn't overwhelm themselves. According to Bryan, the hardest part for most people is simply getting started. He recommended focusing on getting quality sleep first, as it sets the foundation for feeling good and maintaining the energy to balance everything else in the right amounts to keep progressing.
I've made my protocol available to the world for free. So you can see exactly what I do on every single thing. But the key thing is most people struggle to get started. So it's give them enough encouragement that you can do this.
For sure.
Sleep, right? And then you're gonna be like, God damn, I feel amazing.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna exercise. And if I do that, you wanna gain ground ever slowly. If you're depressed, I feel you. I feel you so hard. And hearing this, you're probably no. Just try to master the basics one by one. So just absolutely, it's okay. If you have 2 bowls of cereal instead of 3, you're doing a great job, right? Just ever so slowly walk your way into this.
I listen to him, and we've had people on who I would never say this about. I listen to him and I see someone that I want to listen to.
No, for sure.
It's all non-controversial. He hasn't, not yet at least, he hasn't shilled a single thing. Not even, and not that if he did, it would be a bad thing. But the stuff that he's saying is so medically and data driven to be accepted, right? It's all real stuff,
which I totally agree with. I find the hate for you hilarious. I think it actually speaks to the primitiveness of human nature.
Andrew Tate apologized to him. One of the only times I've ever seen
didn't
it.
That was good.
It was one of the only times I've ever seen
what you're doing is so disruptive. People are just inherently resistant to it, which is that's people, man.
Yeah.
Bryan Johnson, along with all the advice to others, also reflected upon how he handles hate thrown towards him by others. He simply stated that he genuinely loves it. He indicated that all these negative comments posed towards him drive him, and he feels awkward when all these people disappear, saying that he asks himself, where did they go?
But okay, that, for example, doesn't get to you. Like, you say you go to sleep trying to free your mind of all negative thoughts and keep your mind from running. But the chatter online about you doesn't get to you.
I love it.
You love it.
Genuinely love it.
Damn, what a neutralization. Damn.
I mean, it's almost like when it's absent, I'm like, wait, where'd everyone go? Like
You're a heel.
yeah, I mean, like
You're a heel and a baby face. You're a tweener, as we call it.
It's all wrestling
in the industry.
okay.
Bryan Johnson has been very vocal about his use of 3-generational plasma transfusion, claiming it's one of the few methods that can help him age more slowly. He explained that plasma transfusion is like discovering how the infusion of fluids can optimize the body's physical functioning. Ultimately, he believes this approach is a key part of his quest for anti-aging, or as he puts it, his goal of never dying.
Hundreds of longevity therapies, and I thought it would be pretty epic if my son, my father, and I completed the world's first multi-generational plasma exchange. You can think about this as things an individual can do to be healthy and well. We typically think about it as an individual doing something, but rarely this intimate of a setting where you're exchanging biofluids in a way that's meaningfully going to impact your body.
In another interview, Bryan Johnson shared how he first got into plasma transfusion. Speaking with Indian YouTuber Birbiceps, he revealed that one day he received a call from his dad, who was experiencing some cognitive issues. After that conversation, they decided to give plasma transfusion a try. To their surprise, Bryan's son also became involved, and their journey began. Now, Bryan is using the procedure as part of his approach to slowing down aging.
I'm experiencing cognitive decline and I didn't see it. So he felt terrified. He's losing his mind. And so he said, is there anything you have that is being shown to be promising for mental acuity? And I said, funny, Dad. Actually, the team and I were just talking today about these plasma transfusions. So we had done some research. We had seen that there were a few studies for people that were using it for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So I said to my dad, like, Dad, if you're interested, I would be more than willing to give you a liter of my plasma. I don't know if it's gonna work. The evidence is pretty, shallow, like may or may not, but like if you're down, I'm happy to do it. And he said, I'm in, like anything to keep my mind. And so my son overheard the conversation. He's like, I'm in too. And so I was like, okay, cool. This is like a tri-generational plasma exchange. Let's do it.
There's been a lot of buzz around Bryan Johnson's ideology of never dying, with people all over reacting to his extreme approach to longevity. Some think he's pushing the limits of science, while others believe it's just another billionaire obsession. Either way, his quest for immortality is sparking major debate. Chris Williamson reacted to Bryan Johnson's approach, saying he admires him for what he's doing. He described Johnson as a scout in an army, someone who ventures into uncharted territory to gather insights and report back, or potentially face disaster along the way. I love him for it, Williamson said.
The way that I think of Bryan is kind of like a scout in an army. So it wouldn't do to have an entire army filled with scouts. It would be a pretty shitty army. But I'm more than happy to have that one guy who apparently is built to be a scout go up that really dangerous hill over there that maybe the view's beautiful, or maybe you slip and a catastrophe occurs or something, and come back and tell us what he found. I love that. Thank you.
He's a bit of an astronaut.
Correct. Yeah, you expend time and effort and resources and all of that finding out stuff. I'm all for him doing that.
Dr. Andrew Huberman also weighed in on Bryan Johnson's efforts, expressing his admiration for what he's doing in the field of longevity. He stated that he loves seeing someone so dedicated to exploring longevity, not just from their own perspective, but by considering multiple viewpoints and approaches.
If you want to know my take on Bryan, I've known Bryan for a long time. We go way back. And I think it's wonderful that he's doing what he's doing. And I think he's, I don't know him well enough to say, like, people always want to know, like, what's he, I think it's great that somebody's exploring the field of longevity from the perspective he is and other perspectives. So
Dr. Huberman also noted that Bryan Johnson is an important part of the larger tapestry between public health and scientific information. He highlighted that through Bryan and others sharing insights on social media, public health science has become much more accessible to the general public. This shift has made it easier for people to engage with important health information.
Part of this incredible tapestry that's being built of public-facing health and science information. Never before in human history has health and science information been dispersed in the way that it is now, through podcasts, through traditional media, from physicians, from scientists, from ancient wisdom stuff.
Joe Rogan on his podcast called Bryan Johnson weird and expressed that he sees him as just a regular 40-year-old guy who works out a lot but doesn't seem to be doing anything extraordinary. Rogan mentioned that to him, Bryan just looks like a normal fit person in his 40s without anything particularly groundbreaking about his appearance.
But he does look younger.
He looks great. But I mean, you probably could look that. There's guys that look that good that are his age that just work out all the time. Is that him and his son? So he looks to me like a normal, fit 40-year-old guy.
When Joe Rogan was informed that Bryan Johnson follows a vegan diet, he found it interesting that Bryan chose that path for longevity. However, Rogan pointed out the potential nutritional pitfalls of a vegan diet, indirectly criticizing Bryan's choice. He argued that many of the most nutrient-dense meals typically come from red meat, implying that a vegan lifestyle might not be the best option for optimal health.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's a
That's
lot of
interesting.
vegetables.
But that's interesting that he would choose that route, the vegan route
Vegan?
for longevity. Because there's a lot of, nutritional pitfalls in that. It's possible to do. But the most nutrient-dense foods are red meat.
Fitness expert Derek, appearing on the Joe Rogan podcast, broke down Bryan Johnson's anti-aging protocols and cautioned that these practices could be manipulative for the general public. He argued that Bryan's approach can't be generalized, as he's just one person. Derek pointed out that while Bryan may be seeing positive results now, slowing down his aging might not have the same effect over the long term. He even suggested that this whole project could eventually turn out to be a facade.
The results of it, and it would show an outcome that reflects a rate of aging that is potentially slower than what your normal chronological aging would be, which is, like 1 year equals 1 year. You could be 0.6 per year if you were doing everything amazingly, potentially. But still, that is highly manipulatable via very, very acute changes. So if you do something, for example, if you're super healthy for even 1 or a few days, you could change the result of that plus minus 10 years.
Sam Parr and Sean Puri, during their podcast, humorously discussed Bryan Johnson's unique appearance. They remarked that while he is undeniably human, he resembles a vampire or even an AI with his unusually polished and futuristic features.
Have you seen this guy, Bryan Johnson?
Bryan Johnson just has that look, you know what I mean? He looks like a futuristic, amoeba, you know what I mean?
Dude, that's what I was thinking. All he needs to do is tan. If he tans, everyone will be like, this guy's amazing. He doesn't tan and they're like, you're a vampire, bro.
No, he looks like AI.
What once felt like a concept from science fiction is now steadily becoming a tangible reality as breakthroughs in health and technology bring humanity closer to the quest for extended life and vitality. Bryan Johnson serves as a prime example of this pursuit, embodying the fusion of scientific progress, innovation, and an unyielding drive for longevity. Johnson has adopted an extreme, data-driven approach to slowing and even reversing aging, combining rigorous physical interventions, advanced medical treatments, and meticulous health protocols. From dietary optimization to intensive exercise regimens and constant monitoring of internal biomarkers, his lifestyle resembles a blueprint for human performance enhancement. Additionally, he incorporates cutting-edge biotechnology and measures, including therapies that analyze and manipulate internal fluids, such as plasma, to rejuvenate his body at the cellular level. The results of his efforts are nothing short of remarkable. Scientific analysis suggests that Johnson's biological age is years younger than his chronological age, demonstrating that the boundaries of what was once considered impossible are now being redefined. His pursuit not only sparks awe, but also raises important ethical, societal, and philosophical questions about the future of aging and human potential. As researchers like Johnson continue to explore the limits of human longevity, their breakthroughs hint at a future where aging may become less of an inevitability and more of a choice. While the prospect of extending life stirs excitement, it also compels us to reflect on the broader implications for society and humanity as a whole. What do you think of Bryan Johnson? Is he an eccentric billionaire pushing the limits of science, or a visionary sage leading humanity toward a longer, healthier future? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below and stay tuned for more content from us.